Hello, friends. Welcome to a brand new episode. I haven't sat behind the mic for a while, so I'm excited about this episode. Today, we're getting into 5 tips for getting the most out of your macros in a day. Now, when it comes to macros, it can seem a little bit overwhelming, even if you've been tracking your macros for a while. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't know what macros are, there will be an opportunity for you to learn in this episode. But for now, grab your tea or whatever beverage you like, and let's get into today's episode 5 tips for getting the most out of your macros in a day. Hello, Lose Weight with Macros, the Basics Podcast family. I'm your host, Verona, and if you're new here, welcome to the show. I'm a nutrition coach who believes in the power of real life tools to create healthy habits. I help busy women like you get rid of the stress and emotional eating that keeps you from creating resilient, lifelong habits that, quite frankly, you can trust. Instead of giving you another boring diet or workout plan or bland salad and tell you just to eat a whole heap of salad leaves while your family chow down on your favorite meals in the corner and you are regretfully eating that bowl of dry salad. I'm gonna help you learn how to use macros to lose fat, keep it off, and rebuild that confidence that diets often strip us of. That insecurity, that fear, that no longer feeling confident in our bodies that we know we need to get rid of. Friends, if this sounds like your cup of tea, grab your tea, your coffee, and your notepad and pen, because today's episode, friends, is gonna be a juicy one. Hey friends, I hope you are well. As you can hear, I sound a little bit nasally. I've got a little bit of a cold because it is cold and flu season, but your girl is ready for you because today I am getting into these things. Now, when it comes to being a macros coach, this is one of the things that I love teaching clients specifically because so many of us can get information from the internet and we think that this is going to apply to us. Now, there is some good information out on the internet, don't get me wrong, but when you're trying to specify it to you, this is where it kind of gets a little bit hit and miss. And actually, what you end up doing is more missing than you're actually doing in your targets that you actually have. So, today, as a coach, one of the things that I love to do is teaching my clients how to get the most out of your macros. Now, in Focus on the Fat Loss, we're doing this live. So, one of you actually come up with me on stage and we actually go through your macros. Over the 8 weeks, it's a program that literally helps you to navigate your nutrition and to rebuild your confidence. Because when it comes to dieting is literally designed to take away and cause you to restrict yourself from food. It doesn't actually help at all. But what it actually does is strips you from your confidence as well. Because how demoralizing does it feel when you are desperately doing everything that the diet says? If the diet tells you to stop eating carbohydrates, you stop eating carbohydrates. If the diet says to you stop eating after 6 p.m. because that's going to make you fat, you stop eating after 6 p.m. Really and truly, it's about your body type. Because if you think of it, depending on what you actually eat, it takes about 4 hours to actually digest. So if you are having dinner at 6 p.m., think about it fully being digested by 10 p.m. Now, if you're just winding down and you've got a big meal to digest, that's a lot of stuff for your body. Now, most diets or most MLM supplement huns that I call them, they tend to get you to restrict carbohydrates to make you feel like this is bad if you eat after 6 p.m. or this is going to help you lose weight faster if you stop eating at 6 p.m. when it does neither. Now, I know I've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but it's important to articulate the actual key things. Carbohydrates, when I talk about this in the module, we go into carbohydrates a little bit more, but I'm teaching you actually the fundamentals of how to get the most out of the simple carbs that we like and also out of the complex carbs that our body actually craves for once we start to give it more of those things. Now, simple carbs are the things that we like, the milk, the cake, the treats, the fruits, the fast food, and all of those fantastic things that we absolutely love. The difference is we eat way too many of them. So if you're tracking your macros, you want to know how you can get the most out of your macros in a single day. As a nutrition coach, one of the things that I'm actually doing is I'm helping women who are stuck in that cycle of yo-yo dieting, that cycle of stress and emotional eating. And we're helping you uncover the root cause of those things. When we do that throughout the mindset coaching, which is 6 months, and we do that in the macros coaching. So the macros coaching is a group of 20 women. And why it's 20 women is you actually get to speak to the women that you're in. You feel like your voice is heard. You feel like what you've got to say is heard. And I'm going to tell you now, I was bullied in school. If any of you are contemplating joining, don't think that you are better than anybody else. You're all on the same level, trying to actually rebuild your confidence, build a healthy foundation of nutrition, and include your foods. If you like junk food, You have autonomy. That's what I'm coaching, and I'm teaching you how to have control of your food rather than feeling like you have to be controlled or confined to food. And when we invest in a customized macro count, it's saving you time, it's saving you effort, it's saving you money, and it's saving you frustration. Because one of the things that I do as a coach is customizing your macros to help you gain control over the foods that you're eating, which helps you then to focus on things that are better for you. You can focus on your family, you can focus on the things that you like to enjoy to do rather than feeling like you have to be restricted from food in order to lose weight, which is what the actual word diet actually means. So when you're getting a customized macros, this is helping you gain control over the foods that you eat. And as a result of that, that will help you get the better body composition that you want. So if you're doing this because you want to build stronger muscles, you want to build better glutes, you want to build better upper body strength, you just want to have better posture, customized macros help you be able to do that. And it helps teach you what foods that you can eat to make you feel your best. So 5 tips for getting the most out of your macros in a day. Number 1, start by setting a plan. Like, it is so important to set a plan, because if you think you're going to just wing it, I'll just do this, I'll just do that, you're never actually going to get the full benefits of tracking your macros. Now, it might be a little bit hard or daunting to set a plan, but this is the foundation of where I set my coaching. One-to-one, focus on the fat loss, group coaching. We all start by setting up a plan. No winging it here. If you want success, we've got to dig into what is it that you're trying to do, which falls in nicely to number 2. Figure out what you're trying to aim for. Is it that you're trying to aim for muscle building? Is it trying to burn fat? Is it a fact that you want to be able to do a little bit of both? Now, there is a benefit for those of you who are new, who are untrained, who haven't really had much strength training before. So this body recomp might be something that is beneficial for you. Now, if you are going to focus on body recomp, which essentially is burning fat and losing muscle, this is the long and slow route. So if you're looking for quick fixes, recomp isn't probably going to be for you. Again, if you're looking for quick fixes, this probably isn't the podcast for you, because I'm not the coach that wants to give you quick fixes and tell you just drink shakes until you do cardboard. That is not what I'm telling you to do here. One of the things that you can do when it comes to body recomp is understand that it doesn't actually work for everybody. If you are untrained, or if you've just started training again after an injury, that can help. But body recomp is the long and slow process. But that's what it's about. When you're trying to lose fat, we need to get out of this mentality of it's got to be done yesterday. Because if you're trying to do sustainable nutrition, you're trying to maintain your fat loss, you're trying to build a whole new foundation and relationship with your health, that ain't coming by quick fixes. Because if you're already doing that now, let me ask you a question. How is that really working for you? It's not. Chances are it isn't working for you. But anyway, you're figuring out what you're going for. Is it fat loss? Is it muscle building? Is it a little bit of both? Do you want to actually build and bulk up to go to a competition? There are so many women that have so many different goals, but it's important to know, 1, setting up your plan, and 2, figuring out what you're going for. Number 3, create a daily checklist so that you know that you can track how much of each macro you get during each meal, each snack, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Now, when you're on your macros game like this, it is a game changer. Now, one of the things that we go through in Focus on the Fat Loss is making MyFitnessPal, which is the app that I use, you're making it work for you. Too many women download these macro tracking apps and actually have the calories that it sets for them. Most of them use a formula in their back end that actually give you a standard calorie of 1200. I don't know why they do this, but there are several macro apps that actually do that. Even MyFitnessPal, as I love MyFitnessPal, and there are other apps that do the same thing. And how I found that out, I actually downloaded it and I said, why is it that they do that? And it actually is to do with the back end and the formula, etc. Now, I have a macros tracking app, so I've created the specific formula to be able to help you do that. So what many women tend to do now, when they've come from a 1200 calorie mindset, you then think that anything over that, you can't eat that. But actually, you can. Of course, you can eat that, because if you've been going over your calories consistently, that shows me that you can eat more than 1200 calories. It's a mindset thing that we have to work through. Now, a client came to me, busy women, mums, single mums. I work with a variety of women, but each of them have something in common. They are ready to ditch what's no longer working, and you're ready to find what is working. Now, most of you listen to this because you want to learn how to track your macros specifically to you. You can get that in your custom macros plan. So that's what's working. That's the difference between something that's free can go to tdeecalculator.net for those of you who want free, just want give me the numbers and you want to deal with it. For others of you who want me to actually calculate it according to what you do, your job, your lifestyle, and you want to actually make this work and sometimes involve your family in it too, then this is taken into account in your customized, personalized macros. There is a big difference between the two. So I had this busy woman come to me and she was just like, Verona, I'm tired. I'm fed up of, I've gained weight over the pandemic. I've gained weight. I'm sitting on meetings all of the time. I'm just tired and fed up of seeing the way that I look. And so one of the things that we actually did is I got her to actually track what she ate in the app. You can go and do this yourself too. But when you first come to me, you will track every single thing that you eat. Now, if this is something that you cannot handle, then I will not work with you. And here is why. A woman who wants to change will do whatever she needs to do and do whatever it takes to change her life. Many of us, and I was in that position, many are not ready to change. You think you want to change, and you might just be at the precipice. You might just need something to help you change. Sometimes it could be money. Save up 2 months, 3 months, do whatever it needs to take, but make sure that you're on this course or another course for another coach. It doesn't have to be me, but get something. Go work with someone. I'm not precious who you work with. You can work with me, you can work with another coach, but as long as you do what you need to do to get the results that you're trying to get. And when she came to me, she shared her story and some of the struggles that she was going through, that many of you, when you're coming to it with me, are telling me the same constant thing, which is why I specifically work with women who are busy, because I was that woman. We're so busy pouring into other people that we forget to pour into ourselves. And the kicker is we get frustrated with them for not even saying thank you. Have you ever driven or you've been a passenger in a car and somebody gives way and they don't say thank you? And you're like, well, say thank you then. It's a little bit like no manners kind of thing. It's the same sort of thing that we get to this place that we're over serving. Nobody told us to do the work that we're doing. Nobody told us to burn ourselves in the ground to please other people. Now, this is going to go into a mindset episode, so I'm going to steer it back into what we're talking about. But my point here is this: when you recognize that you're people pleasing and you might fall into the martyr complex, which is doing something for the approval of others, which I can still fall back into. I've been set free from it, but there are times where things start to happen or I'm doing a particular task, but then I have to check myself and say, why are you doing this? If you're doing this because you want to do it and you're not doing this because you feel like there's an attachment or validation to that person, go ahead and do it. But 9 times out of 10, we're doing it for the attention or the approval of, you did a good job. Thank you very much. But we get frustrated when we don't get that thank you because we feel like I've been working like a dog for you and you can't even say thank you. Did they ask you to? Most of the time is they didn't even consider asking you to do and go over above that you have. They just ask you to, can you complete the spreadsheet for me? So you've done all the bells and whistles, you've added pivot tables, you've connected to other workbooks, you've gone over and above. And it's fantastic that you like to go over and above. When they get to the team meeting, they do not call you out and say, so and so, thank you so much for your hard work. They just show it as if it was them and you're frustrated. And you know what? In the place that you're at, you don't tell them, oh, you know what, this made me upset or whatever it is. You don't express your feelings. You then go to stress. You take the stress on internally. You mull over it. You get upset over it. You lose sleep over it. Then you go and eat over it. And then it keeps happening. The cycle keeps happening. But the crux of the point is they didn't ask you to put all the bells and whistles in. They just said to you, can you put this in a spreadsheet? But when we have this people pleasing thing, we then do too many things to please others. And instead, we need to learn what we're doing this for, who we're doing it for. We need to set up a plan that's actually going to be realistic for us and our body. So those are 2 or 3 things here that you can do when it comes to setting your macros in a goal, making sure that your macros are set specifically for you. You can do that yourself, or you can get a specific macro count from me as your coach to make sure that this is falling in line with your goals. And it won't set automatically to 1200 calories to keep you further away from your goal, and you're constantly dieting and you're constantly feeling hungry. Number 4, plan your meals in advance. This is one of the biggest things that you can do when you're tracking your macros. Too many of us try to remember at the end of the day what we ate, but there's no way you're going to remember the grams that you've actually got to the T. So you're either going to overestimate or you're going to underestimate. Number 4, get enough protein. Protein is king. It helps with your muscle rebuilding. It helps with muscle growth. It helps with repair, and it keeps you satiated. It also can help you feel fuller for longer, and also attack those cravings that we have. Next one, drink enough water throughout the day. Hydration is a serious thing when it comes to winter. Oftentimes, this is the month that we can be dehydrated, specifically from electrolytes and water. So making sure that you're keeping hydrated is key. Next one, don't overdo it. The thing is, when we try to do too much too soon, that's when we get overwhelmed. That's when we get frustrated and we feel like we are a failure. But what we're doing is we're often repeating the same behaviors that we've learned from methods that we've used to try to lose weight that haven't worked or they're not sustainable. So when we do behavior coaching, these are the things that we're doing. We're literally focusing on why is it that you do that? And that's something that you can ask yourself. You don't have to do behavior change coaching with me to actually answer that question for yourself. But my point is that when we're going through those tools, we're actually deconstructing those habits that you're doing and rebuilding new habits that are actually realistic, sustainable, that you can do. Sometimes when we're starting a new habit, we want to go all gung ho. We want to just go straight in. We want to get results now. But that's unrealistic, because what your body needs to do is recover from the years of diet abuse that we've put it in. And that can look physically like I'm doing quote unquote good all week. Then I cheat on Fridays. Oops, Saturday's a cheat day too. Sunday's a cheat day. Oops, then I start to feel guilty. Then I stand on the scale and I'm like, look at this fat hog. So when we start to get into that mentality, then we start to break down ourselves emotionally or verbally abuse ourselves. Then we eat those feelings and we keep doing the same thing. Instead of that, we're focusing, trying to be consistent from the get-go. So when it comes to how to make the most of your macros, making sure that you're getting these things and making sure that each meal has a little of everything: carbs, fats and proteins, healthy fats, etc. sources. But be careful when it comes to healthy fats and oils. Again, that's where it comes to your customized macros, because this can work for you. And then we focus on how to manage it if you're eating out, etc. And that, my friends, is 5 tips for getting, well, actually, I went over 5, didn't I? But those are my 5 tips for getting the most out of your macros in a day. So you can see how I coach is very much not just about macros. It's more than macros. It's more than numbers. But most of your success lies in the mindset, how you see yourself, how you speak to yourself about yourself, and whether or not you're actually ready to take those and make those changes and see the change. In order for us to see change, we have to be the change that we want to see. They all take time, but the 2 types of women are one that's going to allow things happen to them, or you're going to be the woman that's going to make things happen for you. And you need to decide which are you. And so, my friends, that's all we've got time for in today's episode. I can't wait to catch you in the next one. Friends, we've come through to the end of today's episode. I hope you learned something valuable from today's episode and can put it right into practice now that the episode has ended. If you found value in this episode, do share it with somebody else who can also benefit from today's episode. My friends, don't forget to download your freebies over on the website vianutritioncoaching.co.uk, and also be in with a chance of coming live on air with me to get yourself some free Coach Fridays by leaving your question over on the brand new podcast page. vianutritioncoaching.co.uk/podcast is where you can leave me a question and I'll answer it over here on one of the episodes. And that's all we got time for, friends. I can't wait to catch you in the next episode.